process, like everything we need to renounce, right? Because it's so, so much so we can do in one thing. But by learning through Bhagavad Gita, that's we can understand that that's not the right process. We need to purify ourselves, and then whatever we do, we
Yes.
keep Krishna in center. Like, be renounced by keeping
Keeping
Krishna in
Krishna in the center. And even before we reach that level of Krishna being in the center, there are there are a few steps we have to take. I think I made a slide for it. I'll show it when it comes. But yeah, there are a few steps till we reach there. So we'll come to them. Okay. Anything else anybody wanted to add that we missed last week? What did we do? We had the 10th verse, which is beautiful verse, Padma Patra Mibam Bhasha. Live like a lotus. That's what you want to do. That's what we all want to do. And then beyond that, understanding that, yes, renouncing activity is not that beneficial. Renouncing the fruits of the activity are more beneficial. And that's what Krishna has established. Okay, all good. Anybody else wants to add anything before we jump on to the next verses? Okay. So now we are at the 11th verse. Okay. So in the 10th verse, as I said, the Krishna said, Padma Patra Mahambasha, live like a lotus. So the kind of the key teaching was that your bondage is not because of the work you are doing. The bondage comes if we start owning those things for ourselves. That's the problem. That's where it comes. Acting without ownership. So Krishna is building up the next concept, which is doers. Who are the doers? That's what Krishna is going to build up from this verse onwards. Right? So let's see this verse. The yogi, abandoning attachment, act with body, mind, intelligence, and even with the senses, only for the purpose of purification. Right? Indriyerapi is the word Krishna is using. Where is that? Indriyerapi. So Indriyerapi means with body, mind, intelligence, and senses. So what does a yogi do? He works for sake of purification. Right? So what is the motivation for such a person to work if he is not desiring results? It should be purification. We all can practice bhakti at 4 levels. Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives it in his book Chaitanya Chandramrita, I think, that there are 4 levels: fear, desire, duty, and love. So the lowest level is where we work is fear, right? And then comes desire. We expect some results. Then we do it as a duty, right? So for example, we want to follow our spiritual master, whatever our spiritual master tells us, we want to do that. And we see it as duty. And then eventually it matures into love, right? And the duty part is where the sadhana bhakti comes in. So what we all are doing is sadhana bhakti. When we read the Nectar of Devotion, we'll go through the different types of levels of bhakti. The first one is Vedi bhakti. Vedi means according to rules and regulations. And when we keep doing that and we keep getting purified, a time comes when that Vedi bhakti matures into Raganuga bhakti. That we become so much it just mesmerized. We don't have to force ourselves anymore to do bhakti. We want to just love doing it. But till then, that does not come. We just do duty or do sadhana bhakti as duty. Do it as our duty. So Krishna is saying that, okay, yes, indriyerapi, yeah. So even sometimes our mind is not involved in the process, but our senses can be, right? Even if we can't focus our mind on chanting, we can at least use the senses, right? When we speak, we use our hearing sense to hear that. We use our touch to touch the beads that we have, right? So right now my senses are giving me a lot of agony, but once purified, they'll give me ecstasy. Till then, we have to tolerate. So, yeah. So that's what Krishna is telling us here. That just for the purpose of purification. Let's see if Prabhupada is highlighting something here. Oh yes, Prabhupada is quoting this verse from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Iha yasya hare dasya karmana manasa gira nikhila sapi avasthasu jivan mukta sa uchyate. A person acting in Krishna consciousness with his body, mind, intelligence, and words is a liberated person, even within the material world, although he may be engaged in many so-called material activities. Jivan Mukta. So Jivan Mukta is one who has a body, but is liberated from material attachment. So there is, and then the next level comes Videha Mukta. So Videha Mukta is he has departed the material world and he's gone back to the spiritual world. So once our senses are purified, senses can be used for spiritual purposes. So bhakti is sensory spirituality. When you start using our senses for bhakti, that's the level that's being talked about here. So we read it in the what was that nectar of instruction, right? Jiva vegam udarupasta vegam etan vegan yogi sahita dira. People who can control their senses and then engage in bhakti, then these senses get purified. So yeah, jivan mukta sakshi. Then comes to 12. Yukta karma phalam tyaktva shantim apnoti naishtikim ayukta kamakarena phale sakto nibandhyate. The steadily devoted soul attains unadulterated peace because he offers the result of all activities to me. Whereas a person who is not in union with the divine, who's greedy for the fruits of his labor, become entangled. So one who engages in Krishna consciousness, gives up results, attains liberation. One who is not engaged is attached to the results and out of lust becomes entangled. Right? And let's see, I thought I had a slide. Here. Yes. So I'll show you this video and you all have to see this video and tell me what is the lesson from it. And especially with the words that we're reading, the section we are reading, okay? I'm not sure if the voice will, you can see, I have to share the sound also, share computer sound. Yes, it's reading, okay.
In Africa, some farmers use a brilliant trick to find water. A man digs a small hole and drops a few melon seeds inside, knowing a curious baboon is secretly watching him. Then he hides behind a nearby tree and waits. Soon enough, the baboon comes closer, curious as ever, and reaches into the hole to grab the melon seeds. But here's the catch. Once it clenches its fist around the seeds, it can't pull its hand back out. That's when the man rushes over and quickly ties a rope around the baboon's neck. Don't worry, he doesn't heart it. He actually needs the baboon's help. The man ties it to a tree and places some chunks of salt nearby. Now, salt is rare in that area, so the baboon happily licks it up. But soon, the salt makes it really thirsty. Once the baboon can't take it anymore, the man sets it free. And right away, the baboon runs straight toward the nearest water source. The man just follows behind, and just like that, he's found water in the middle of the desert.
Was it audible to all of you?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So yes, so what this is a wonderful. I don't know, some of you might have seen this already, but yeah. So it's about a baboon. How to catch a baboon? Why am I telling? Tell me, what is the lesson from this? What did we learn from it in context with the session? Is the things we are reading right now?
It's more about how to get the water to come to the seed, so the seed can
water to come to the seed.
Yeah.
Water to come to the seed. I didn't understand that. What do you mean by that?
So the man found the water, right? Now all he has to do is build a trench to bring it all the way to the seed.
Do you all want me to play the video again? Was it too fast or something?
One more takeaway, Prabhuji. I think I've taken the baboon lesson from the baboon. Like he kept holding that seeds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a very good lesson. Yeah, right. That's like all of us. That's like all of us here. We have caught the material nature, and we refuse to give it. And then on the other hand, we cry, why am I suffering? Right? And that's what Krishna is saying in this, right? One who's not engaged in Krishna and he's attached to the results, that person becomes entangled. The baboon could easily have just left the melon seeds and run away. But the person knew that this guy's not going to leave it because he's so greedy. So that's like all of us here. That's what we do. We put our hand in this world to enjoy, and then we have that option to just leave it. And when I say leave, it means not to be attached to the results, or not be attached to what am I going to get out of it. I could have just left it, but I don't leave it. Right? And then what happens is that when I'm caught in this Maya, then next thing what Maya does is again gives me something like a candy to eat. That's the salt he was giving him, right? So that's the message coming out from it, that the way we get caught in this world is when Maya puts some seeds for us in this hole, and I just want to grab it. Right? So I'm putting my hand in trying to enjoy, but trying my best to come out, but then the guy comes and he catches me and makes me dance to her tune. The Maya does that. Right. There was a hand up I saw. Somebody was saying something.
Yeah, I had raised the hand. I was just making the point that we just repeat the same mistake. He just repeated the same mistake again with the salt. But you just mentioned it, so I lowered my hand.
Okay, sure. Oh, yeah, that's a good point, right? And so what Krishna is saying, Yukta karma phala tyaktva shanti apnoti neshtuki. It gives you peace, shanti. Ayukta kama karena. You get results, your hand gets stuck in the hole. Right? So well-situated person, they give up that attachment to the fruits of work. A person who acts of desires of fruit become bound. That's the only difference between the baboon. Well, the baboon, look, I see myself as the baboon there, right? So Krishna is giving a very good comparison between a fruitive worker and somebody who's a karma yogi who's giving up the results of his action. So, and more importantly, it's not that the action is the cause of bondage. No, it's not that the monkey was helpless. It was the motivation that causes bondage. Because he had a motivation, I want to eat these melon seeds. There was some selfishness there. Right? So that's what got him stuck there. So there's our verse. Okay. Right. So that was
since I see this as a kind of a seeds were put as a trap for baboons, so that we can locate. But thinking of myself, I'm in this Maya. Somebody is like Maya Devi is watching from behind and happily, giving some fruits to me, and then I might find that fruit joyful, right, or giving me happiness. So how do I realize what is like a trap for me, or what is?
We'll talk about it in the next few verses that come through. We'll go into a bit of a detail in that. And Krishna also talks about it, that how you distinguish it and so forth. So when we come there, then let's discuss your question. Right. So, and then the word neshtiki is here, which I like. There was a neshtiki word, wasn't it? Neshtiki. Shantim apnoti neshtikim. Unflinching. So in this world, we will always be hit by quakes, right? We'll always be getting hit by miseries and sorrows. But if a person is not attached to the results and is dependent on Krishna, then there is no bondage. Then the person is unshakable. Whatever may come is okay. Right? There's a famous story I might have told her, but there was a farmer in the village and he had a horse. Nobody else in the village had a horse. And everybody would come and congratulate him. Oh my God, you got a horse. And that farmer would say, no, I don't know if it's good or bad. I don't know. So next day the horse runs away. So everybody comes and just mourns for it. That, oh, I'm sorry, you had a horse, he ran away. Again, the person says, I don't know whether it's good or bad. Then the following day, the horse brings a friend of his. There are two horses now he has. Again, people come to praise him. And again, he says, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Then next day, his son is riding on one of the horses and he falls down and he breaks his leg. Again, the villagers come, oh, I'm sorry, your son broke your leg and blah, blah, blah. And again, the person says, I don't know, good or bad. And then the king has gone to the war, and he asks everybody above a specific age to come and fight. But the son was not recruited because his leg was broken. Again, so we don't know what is good and bad, but what is right, what is wrong. So, but that only comes when we read Bhagavad Gita. That's the essence of what we are discussing here. That our intelligence gets stronger, decision-making capability increases. Right? And then Prabhupada towards the end is saying, this is the secret of Krishna consciousness. Realization that there is no existence beyond Krishna, besides Krishna, is the platform of peace and fearlessness. Right? So if we could just accept the fact that Krishna is taking care of us, then anything that comes my way is Krishna's mercy. Right? Just imagine that you know somebody just loves you. This person loves me. So when we know that somebody loves me, then I'm not worried about what the person is doing, because I'm always thinking this person loves me. Whatever he does is going to be good for me. There is no way that I'm going to worry about. But if we try to go and figure out, no, I'll figure out the world myself. No, then it becomes a big mess. Then it's complete bewilderment. Even Bhishma, when he was leaving his body, he looks at the Pandavas and he's saying, I don't know what's going on with you guys. Krishna is your well-wisher. He's there, right there with you. He's your family member. He's your cousin brother. But still you had to go through so much. And he uses the phrase, Muhyanti kavayo apihi. Muhyanto kavayo apihi. That kavi means the very intelligent person. Even if you're a very intelligent person, you will be completely bewildered. So all we should do is just have that, as Prabhupada is telling us, that realization that there is no existence besides Krishna is a platform of peace and fearlessness. Just looking at everything as coming from Krishna. And if everything is coming from Krishna, it cannot be wrong. Nothing can be bad in that. Krishna is giving me mercy in every different way. And all he's expecting us to do is that we interpret everything that comes our way as his mercy. That's all. That's what Brahma says in 10:14:8. Tattyanukampam susamikshamano bhunjani vatra kritam vipaka. Vidvagvapurabhi vidadhan namaste jivetayo mukti pade sadaya bhag. That all I have to do is just keep living my life in these set of regulatory principles of freedom that Krishna has given us, that Prabhupada has brilliantly established for us. And I just keep living that. At the end, what will happen? I'll become an heir to the kingdom of God. And I'll have entry to the kingdom of God, just because I didn't start worrying that, oh, why is this happening to me? Why is that happening to me? Should I worry about it? This person has hurt me. I have to take revenge and all that. No, just take every insult coming your way, every reversal coming our way, every good thing coming our way as an opportunity to see Krishna's hand. And how in that situation is Krishna trying to bring me to full dependence on him? That's what Prabhupada is saying here. 13. When the embodied living being controls his nature and mentally renounces all actions, he resides happily in the city of 9 gates, neither working nor causing work to be done. So now Krishna now explains something very profound here, right? So if we are not the doer, then who is, right? Because here we are being told neither working nor causing work to be done. As a soul, I'm living in this body, neither working nor causing any work to be done. So the embodied soul lives in the city of 9 gates. And the soul neither acts nor causes action, right? Like a driver sitting in a car. The driver exists, but the car performs the movement. The soul is present, but the body and the nature perform actions. So what are the 5 topics Bhagavad Gita talks about? It was in the introduction, I told you all. Can you please remind me?
Jiva, Prakriti, Kal, Bhagwan, and one more. I don't remember the 5th one, Prabhuji.
Karma.
Karma.
Yeah. Ishwar, Jiva, Prakriti, Kal, and Karma. So, 3 out of them, Ishwar, Jiva, and Prakriti, they have a continuous relationship, right? I think where's my slide? Have somewhere in the slide. Right, so this is what. So there is a continuous interaction between all 3 of them, happening all the time. Ishvara is obviously the Lord. So who is the doer? Who owns responsibility for evil action? And if something good is done, who gets the credit? That is being answered here. So when we talk of Prakriti, that is nature, she is doing provision of the ingredients, giving the ingredients and the results of the action. And me as a Jiva, I have free will, desiring what to do. And Ishvara is sanctioning. So who is the doer? So this has 3 answers. If we say who's controlling Jiva and giving results of action, then Prakriti is the doer. And then if we say, but who is sanctioning them? Or then Ishwar is the doer, right? But when it comes to owning the responsibility, then the Jiva is the doer. Right? So understanding that I'm not the doer. Yes, I initiate the thing, but then I'm not completely responsible for whatever is happening. Just like a thief steals, a policeman catches him, and the judge sends him to jail. If the policeman wouldn't have caught him, it's not a theft. The person would have been just roaming around freely. So yes, the thief instigates, has a desire, a wrong desire, but then the punishment comes from the police and the judge. So he's not fully responsible; they're rather responsible, but he's responsible in the way that he is initiating it. Right? So we have to take responsibility. That's what Krishna is teaching us. Yes, once you instigate or initiate a thought, then you cannot bring it back. Then you have to suffer for it. And that suffering is for sure going to come to us. So, for example, as I was just saying, right, our sense objects, the soul desires them, and then the super soul sanctions them, and the material nature executes them, and then we gratify our senses. So that's what happens. Let's go back to where we were. So that's what Krishna is telling us, that when we renounce all actions, then I'm not responsible for anything that's coming my way. Or if there is anything, that's just my past karma making their way. I'm not creating any more new karmas. Okay. Prabhupada quotes another verse from Shvetashvara Upanishad, where again the same concept of Navadvare Pure Dehi is being mentioned. So this is the brilliance of Prabhupada. He's condensed Upanishads, Puranas, and whatnot to bring us the essence. Just by reading Prabhupada's books, we get all the essence. Therefore, a Krishna conscious person is free from both the outer and inner activities of the material body. So that's being we can always control our senses, right? That's what we're doing. When we do that, a much higher, a much more fruitful result, a much more intense result or love is waiting for us. So that's what Krishna is asking us. Just tolerate a bit till you are at the level of purification, and then you will see that all these results are coming to you. So okay. So yes, was it clear when Krishna says no work for self or others to be done? Does that make sense? Huh? I think that's what he's saying, right? Not causing work to be done, neither working nor causing. So yeah, like people working in a government job, but they have no personal agenda. They're working for the government. So they're technically not working. They're just working as instruments. Yes, Julan Yatra.
Actually, I wanted to share one personal experience. I'm working currently for like a startup company, right? And we are trying to get we are trying to get like partners, medical doctors at partners. And once I went to this conference, and I was trying to talk with this one doctor, but she was just like trying to avoid me. But in my mind, I was feeling that I don't have to be upset because she's not avoiding me. She's just avoiding the salesperson in me. So I was kind of,
Yeah. That's a very good thought. Yes, keep you motivated. Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Yes. So yeah, so Krishna asks Arjun to fight because he wants Arjun to function as a Kshatriya, right? What does it mean for Arjun? Krishna means body has a way of working. Kshatriya's nature is to fight. So body has to function as a Kshatriya. But if Arjun identifies too much or is not at all attached to the Kshatriya body, that is also not good. Krishna is asking Arjun to attach, but without the principle of bondage. Don't be attached to them. Okay. Let's see what else Prabhupada is saying. Okay.
This also sounds like a renounce, right?
Renounce.
It is renounce, but in the way that neither working nor causing work to be done. Like,
Yes. No, what this means is neither working nor causing work to be done is when you work as an instrument, you are doing the job that you have been given. You are neither creating new work nor you are doing anything new. You're just doing what you have been told as an instrument. That's what it means. So right now, what Arjun is doing, he's refusing to accept Krishna as the master of his mind, not letting him be the charioteer of his mind. Right now, he's saying, no, Krishna, this is what I want to do. You don't tell me what I want. So he's creating work for himself that, no, I don't want to kill my people. So now he's creating something that is not being approved by Krishna. So that is something he as a soul is creating. But when he is following Krishna, he's not creating any work. He's just saying, Krishna told me to fight this war, I'm fighting. So he's neither working and neither he's causing any new work to be done because that work also is Krishna's desire. That's what it means. So it's not renouncing activity, but renouncing the thought that I am doing it, it's my work and this is what I want to do, not what Krishna is asking me to do. Then if I do what I want to do, then it becomes work. But when it's not, when it's Krishna asking me to do something, then it's neither work nor causing work to do.
It's a different way of looking because even to me, if Arjuna is fighting is also a work. But yeah,
yes.
I get that understanding, but that's something approved by Krishna.
Yes, that's something approved by Krishna. Yep.
So that's...
Yes. And you can see Prabhupada's life. When Prabhupada was in Juhu, he wanted the Juhu to make a temple in Juhu. There was this one Mr. Nair. Mr. Nair was known for cheating people. He would take their token money and then not give them the land. And that's what he thought, I'll fool these young Americans. And he did that. And Prabhupada had a very a heavy battle with him in the court. Prabhupada was not like, no, I'm a sannyasi, I should not go in the court or not fight. Well, he didn't personally go, but I shouldn't be thinking too much. It's just a land. No, it was Krishna's desire that he was fulfilling. And it was no work for him. It was Krishna's desire. So it didn't bring any karma to him, and it didn't create any further work of karma or any further karma to come his way. So that's so Prabhupada was not inactive. He was fully active, and but not creating any karma or any work for himself. Did I make it clearer for you, Prabhu? I know you got that.
Yeah, Prabhuji, it's kind of a new and tricky thing, but yeah, I think.
Right, well, that's so. Yeah, Krishna is presenting it in a different way, but that's all. That's what he's been saying the whole time. That don't try to be the doer. That's all Krishna is asking Arjun. Don't try to be a doer. Don't get emotionally entangled, right? To the extent we think that I'm doing things, I will be bound. That's what Krishna is telling him.
In connection to the previous video which you showed, the connection of ownership, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so again, if the monkey, well, obviously it's hard to understand, but let's say If monkey would have been ordered by his master to go and get something, then he's not creating any work for himself. He's just following what the owner is doing. But right now, it was his sense desire that was instigating him to go and get those melon seeds. Yeah.
All these concepts are so subtle that it takes
Yes.
time to come to the.
That is why we all should read the Bhagavad Gita every single day. Reading Shastras or Bhagavad Gita is not like, how do you call it, linear. Okay, I've read Bhagavad Gita, now I read Bhagavatam, now I read Chaitanya Charitamrita, now and then I'll go read some more esoteric literature by the Goswamis, and then I'll read some fancier book. No. You just read the books Prabhupada has given us, but it's like a spiral. You keep reading them, and they get more and more intense, and eventually they take you to the core, and then you get to understand the philosophy. Yeah, so it's nothing fancy or anything. Like people say, oh yeah, I have to read some fancy literature, being able to quote some fancy verses, then only I'll be self-realized. No, that's all Krishna is asking us. Okay. The embodied spirit, master of the city of his body, does not create activities, nor does he induce people to act, nor does he create the fruits of all actions. All this is enacted by the modes of material nature. So now Krishna is taking a step further. Okay, yes, I'm telling Arjun to not fight. Oops, right? So he's asking Arjun to not fight. But then he's clarifying that the Lord doesn't cause the doership of Jiva, nor does he force results of action on Jiva. It is by the Jiva's nature, right? So all this is enacted by the modes of nature, right? So, and then when he says modes of nature, or sorry, not modes of nature, it's modes of material nature, right? So 3 modes as we know, right? So it's just the 3 modes and combination, that is all of this, right? So soul doesn't do anything, doesn't make others do anything. Soul is not the doer. All this happens because of one's material nature. So soul is never the doer. But as long as it thinks it is the doer, it has to reap the results. So that the thought process, when it gets attached, then it becomes that we have to suffer. Bhagavad Gita is offering a very profound thought here. This body is a machine, but when we identify it with it, it will become attached. So, yes, Sandeep.
Yeah, Prabhuji, and I think what you just said makes sense because, I mean, the way I see Prabhuji is I'm just like someone sitting in my own body, and all these weird processes and, all these different things are going on. And I think I have control over it, but they are just like automated autopilot, And the moment I think that it's not autopilot, that's when I get into trouble. Right, Prabhuji? Is that the intention of Krishna here when he, I mean, not intent, I should not use that word intention, but is that what Krishna says here?
That you have to be an autopilot?
Yeah, it's like, no, that all of these things that are happening, that we think are happening, is like an autopilot mode, We are not doing anything, it's just autopilot, everything.
So we have been attached to this material nature, because of which we have created karma, and we are seeing the fruits of those karma coming to us. However, if we don't react to those fruits and not create any further karma and just live as Krishna wants us to do, then it can call it autopilot.
So probably even those fruits, whichever are coming to us, right? They are not actually coming to us. They are coming to our body or mind or whatever, right?
Yeah, you can say that. Yes. Yeah.
So in a way, it's all happening autopilot. We have no control over it. Only we think because we are doing these things. That's why we get all caught up into that, because we have no other choice except to be caught up. So
attachment. Yes.
Attachment. Yeah.
Attachment. So look at it this way. Whatever I am today is because of what I have done in the past. Even in this life, we have seen that. Today, I decide, no, I want to fully dedicate myself to what Krishna wants me to do. Okay? Let's presume I'm 100% there. Then anything I do from this moment onwards will not bring any karma to me, because I am fully aligned with what Krishna wants me to do. However, because of what I have done in the past, I'll still continue to see some results. For example, how let's take an example. Yeah, let's say a week ago, I took a loan from somebody and I was supposed to pay him today. But between that week, I became fully renounced and I took fully to the path of Krishna consciousness. But that person is still going to come and ask me for money. And I have to give him money back. So yeah, my karma would still keep showing up. But if I don't react to them, to those karma, then I won't get any further karma. So then again, my life will continue to become cleaner and peaceful. Yes, I might still see some karma and might get, pain or misery because of them. But if I don't react to them and I just keep myself in Krishna consciousness, then everything works out fine. I don't know if that made sense, Prabhu. Did that?
Yeah, Prabhu.
Add
Yes.
on?
Yep.
Okay. So one more thing to think, where sometimes people think that if Jiva is not the doer, but then Jiva is the one who's suffering the results. So it looks like the Lord has created the Jiva's doership and forced it on the Jiva. No, that's not the case. Lord is not unjust and cruel. He does not make the Jiva do activities. Just keep that in mind. We all have this tiny free will out of which we do whatever we want to do. That tiny free will made Duryodhan to go to the war. That tiny free will made Dhritarashtra to not stop his son. That intense attachment, that was all coming from his tiny free will. All Krishna does is give results of that. If not for Dhritarashtra, if Dhritarashtra could once had said, Duryodhan, no, we are not going to fight this war. We are going to give the Pandavas 5 villages and end it here. The war would not have happened. So our Krishna is only giving the results of Jiva's activities. Nature of Jiva is Satchidanand. But it's the ignorance, the attachment that produces these negative results. The false identification makes the Jiva feel I am the doer. Right? So, and I think Prabhupada makes a good statement in here. Where is that? Yes, Vinu.
So, Prabhuji, again and again we are saying Jiva is Jiva. In this case, soul is not the doer. But then again we are saying that Krishna is giving the results of the activities done by Jiva. So I find that I am having difficulty.
So what I showed you in the last, where was that? Jiva is not the only doer. That is the thing to keep in mind.
Yes.
He has, but then when the Jiva instigates something, he will get the results of it. Understand that?
Yes.
So what the Jiva can do is he can align his desires fully with Ishwar, and then he will not be suffering any of those karma anymore. So what I mean when I say Jiva is not the doer, what I mean to say Jiva is not the only doer. Out of ego, out of ignorance, we think that I am doing everything. That's what the demoniac nature is. Krishna will talk about it in the 16th chapter. 16th chapter, 14th verse, Krishna says, Ishvaro aham bhogi, siddho aham balvan sukhi. That's what a person who thinks I am the one doing everything. He thinks I am Ishwar. I am the one who's going to enjoy. I am the one who's intelligent. I am the one who's strong. Ishvaro aham bhogi, siddho aham balvan sukhi. Right? But Krishna is telling here, come out of that ignorance. When you start thinking that I'm the doer, I will make things happen. That's what Duryodhan was doing. He was thinking that I can win this war because he was completely detached from Krishna, not detached, and against him. If he would have listened to Krishna, then whatever his desires were, they would be in tune with Krishna, and he would have never suffered the results that he had to suffer. So understanding that Jiva is not the only doer. That's what I wanted to establish.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Did that make sense? I don't know if I confused you further, or did that make sense?
No, it makes sense. It's just the culprit here I understand is the desire.
Yes. And even before that, you can even say to this extent, even the Jiva is not the culprit. It's the Jiva, when the Jiva starts thinking that I am meant to enjoy through this body. That's all the problem becoming in. It's just that ignorance that's even the problem, right? The desire is also coming from that ignorance when the soul starts thinking that I'm supposed to enjoy through this body. And the worst part is that I cannot enjoy through this body. There's a limitations to it, and so and so forth. But that ignorance makes me do it. And that's what Bhagavad Gita comes, is removes that covering of the ignorance from the jiva's intellect, intelligence, and jiva. And then the jiva no more desires all that. He said, no more doing. I'm done. And then the jiva becomes happy. There were more hands raised. Somebody raised another hand.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you for. Actually, you already answered part of my question.
Okay.
I had this question after knowing this philosophy or Krishna conscious philosophy. What should a person do when his desire gets sanctioned? For example, if somebody takes a loan from a bank, for example, right? So, and that loan gets sanctioned, and he has that money in his hand. Right? He can use it for an investment or a purpose he has taken for, or throw it out in luxury. And so my question is, if my desire is getting sanctioned, how one should, what is the right way to act on it, or
Yes, as I mentioned earlier, this verse from Brahma's prayers, right? 10:14:8. Brahma is saying, Lord Brahma is saying, yes, we have done some things. We have taken loans, and they are going to mature at some time, right? There are those 4 types of things, right? What was that? Bijam, Putam, Falon, Mukham. Prarabdha, Aprarabdha, Bija, and Puta. There are 4 types of. We talked about that, I don't know if you remember. There are some things that are manifested already, the results of my karma. Something are in the form of a seed. They're going to, and some they're actually just as a desire somewhere. So once I have taken that step, those things are for sure going to come back to me. Once you have taken the loan, you have to pay it. There is no way out of it. However, what Brahma gives a solution is, whatever is coming your way, you just tolerate it as Krishna's mercy, take it as a blessing coming from Krishna, look at the positive in it, that Krishna is trying to teach me something here, and just tolerate whatever is happening to you and just keep moving forward and avoid doing those things again in life, repeating them, so that no more karma comes to you. But what you have done, you have to suffer for that. Okay, bro?
Yeah.
But by doing bhakti, Krishna gives us this option that he can reduce the results also. Because karma, the concept of karma, the whole thing is created by Krishna. Krishna says this in the 7th chapter, Devi Hesha Gunamai Mam Maya Durattai. That this material nature is created by me, this mind. So, Mam Eva Ye Prapadyante, Maya Metam Taranti. But if you become my devotee, I can remove those karmas out of your life. So yes, Krishna can cancel those out. But a devotee, they're just very tolerant. Whatever is coming, they're happy. They think, okay, Krishna sent me something to teach me something. Here, he's giving me a message. It's a lesson from Krishna. And they just keep living their lives. They don't worry. And they're okay. Yes, okay, I must have done something bad. That's why I'm suffering today. They don't. This is what happened. There was this Peter Barbosh. He was a tennis player, and he was a fan of Prabhupada. And once he gave a very big donation to the temple president, and then the next day the temple president ran away with his money. And Peter Barbosh came angrily to Prabhupada and saying, Prabhupada, how did this happen? And Prabhupada just told him, don't be angry at the instruments of your karma. Don't look at everything as coming to you from Krishna as a lesson. That's all. That's all we can do if we want to remain sane and just keep continuing. If you try to look for a reason for everything, we'll just move off the path of bhakti. Okay,
And Prabhu, Krishna himself says, right, that this theory of karma is incredibly hard to understand. So anybody who's right, so because we generate so much of karmas, right? I mean, even just going for a walk, I don't know how many animals get killed and how many ants get killed, right? And even while we are breathing, so God knows how many karmas we are creating on a day-to-day basis. So
yes,
I think this empirical study is not that easy to understand.
And we should not do that empirical study. Krishna says this, don't go through that path. You will end up losing millions of lifetimes trying to figure out everything in detail. Krishna is giving a simple message. Just come to me, I'll take care of everything. Yeah, karmano gahano gati. Yeah, karmana, and understanding the concept of karma is very bad. Just keep a simple thought. Whatever is coming to me is Krishna's mercy.
Yep.
It's all what Krishna is trying to do something good for me. Don't try to look for the bad. Oh no, Krishna is trying to hurt me or somebody's trying to hurt. Nobody's trying to hurt you. That's a victim mentality. Nobody in this world is trying to hurt us. Just take everything as an opportunity to see Krishna's hand and how Krishna, by that opportunity, is bringing me closer to himself. That's all. That's all we need to do. Obviously, it's not that easy. I'm saying it, but it's not that easy. But if we could just keep this thought in our mind 24/7, write it on a piece of paper, stick it on your fridge, put it as a screensaver on your phone or something. Keep reminding yourself that whatever is happening to me is Krishna's mercy. Then you will just come out of this misery very easily. We all will come out of it, not just you. I'll also. Okay, so let's go to 15. Now, nor does the Supreme Lord assume anyone's sinful or pious activities. Embodied beings, however, are bewildered because of the ignorance which covers their real knowledge. Right? So somebody can ask, oh, is the Lord responsible for the way I am? That's being answered here. Right. So in this verse, don't blame the Lord. Krishna does not receive your pious or sinful reactions. Right? So our knowledge is covered by ignorance. Krishna has not taken this chapter yet to the level of bhakti. Okay. So he's not getting too much involved in it. Saying nature is the doer, right? But where does nature come from? By the covering of my ignorance, living entities getting deluded, right? And because of that illusion, the soul acts in self-defeating ways. So, and then the agyan that's being talked is about the three modes. So the point is that the soul forgets who I am and takes a wrong identity. By this, living entity gets bewildered. That's what it is. So through my desires, I've caused my own bewilderment. That's what Prabhupada is saying. Prabhupada says in the Prabhupada also. Don't go looking for a cause. Don't ask why. Some people become fanatics asking this question. Why did Krishna bewilder me? When did I fall down? Right? Just don't forget all about that. Right? Why did I desire to enjoy myself? Don't try to go to the origin. Right? They try to go to the origin, but they forget to take the therapy. Right? Don't forget to take the therapy. Just take the therapy. That's a better way. Right? So, let's see what is Prabhupada saying. Okay. Okay. Yes, Prabhupada is saying by immemorial desires. Okay. Then comes 16. So what is the solution? When, however, one is enlightened. Yes, Veena.
Just quickly, Prabhuji. So when we say practice Krishna consciousness, are we saying that to the body or to the soul?
You use the body, but the soul is doing it. See, this body is like an instrument that's been provided to you. You are a soul. When you do Krishna consciousness, initially you have to use these senses, whatever you have been provided. You engage those senses. You purify those senses.
So,
but yes, yeah, go ahead.
So from soul's perspective, we're saying then we're saying desire Krishna consciousness then. Because that's the only thing soul can do, is desire.
Yes, because that is the true nature. Right.
Okay. Got it.
Like a fish out of water, you can give fish everything, a cigar to smoke, but probably a glass of a drink or something, put some good music. But all this fish wants is water. That's all the fish wants. It doesn't want any of this nonsense. Right? So as a soul, all I need is Krishna. That's all. But because of my ignorance, being in this body, I start thinking, no, I don't want Krishna. I want this thing. How about that fancy car? How about comparing it to somebody who's, why is this guy doing this? I also want what he has. That's the source of ignorance. That ignorance is covering us up. And when we do these spiritual activities, that ignorance goes away. And then if the ignorance is completely gone away before we leave this body, then there's no more body. Then we go back home, back to Krishna. Then there is no body problems. Okay. When, however, one is enlightened with knowledge by which science is destroyed, then his knowledge reveals everything as the sun lights up everything in the daytime. So soul's ignorance can be destroyed. That's what Krishna is telling us. That knowledge arises as sun. What disappears when the sun arises? Darkness. So when a karma yogi keeps practicing, there is inner illumination. There's like a master switch that gets turned on. So right now we are wallowing in the darkness of our material conception of life. When we come to Krishna consciousness, hearing from bona fide Guru, then Krishna conscious like sun enters our life and illuminates everything. That's what happens. Yes, so that's what happened. I think, let me show you a slide. I think I had something. I made it. Where's that slide? No, this. So this, I think I have shown you. This is the understanding the way cycle is. Right now, our cycle goes this way. Sense objects come to the senses. Senses tell the mind. Mind tells intelligence, and the illusion soul thinks this is what I want. And this is because I've lost my connection with Krishna. The moment I reignite my connection with Krishna, then the soul will tell to the intelligence and the mind what it wants. That's the way it becomes. And then that happens. And there's this verse in the 7th canto. You can read it. It's a beautiful verse where we are told, this is, I think, Yudhishthira, Narad Muni talking to Yudhishthira, that the more austerities we do, chanting, reading, hearing, serving the Guru, the more super soul talks to us, the more it manifests to us. And when the super soul starts guiding us, then we are never confused. Is this what I want? Is this what I want? No. Then the super soul tells us, no, Premda, this is what you want. Okay? However, as I was saying earlier, there is a process to it, right? So we start with our chanting, hearing, reading, service with humility, determination, purpose. That's where we start. So what happens is, initially, you have to start with some faith in it. For a period of time, you might not see any changes in yourself. If you are just hastily give that up, that's a sad thing. However, when we keep practicing, right, then our mind, we are able to control our mind. After some time, what I mean by controlled mind is that when you sit down to chant, it does not distract you that much. There is some controlling that has happened. However, when you keep continuing on that, your senses also come under your mind's control. And then your intelligence becomes strong. And this is the whole I'm just saying is, when you keep chanting, hearing, reading, and serve, this is how the process goes. Okay, and I'm not saying it's perfect. This is something that I think is working that way. That's just working for me. And then when your mind is controlled, your senses are controlled, your intelligence is controlled, your heart softens. And we start perceiving Krishna. You're not able to see Krishna yet, but you can perceive his presence. You can see his hand in everything that's happening in your life. And eventually, when we still keep continuing, a time comes, we don't need to control anything. Right? You don't need anything. It's just you see Krishna. So Prabhupada would tell, oh, I can see Krishna. Yes, Prabhupada would see Krishna. So, but then you have to understand that you have to keep going. And the essence lies in this fact that you're chanting, hearing, reading, and serving. And as you keep going, your faith, your determination, and your taste will keep on increasing in the process. I try to put it as simply as I can. Initially, you will have to put some faith in there. You know, as Krishna, because of your piety that you have accumulated over lifetimes, Krishna became merciful. He said, okay, looks like Prem Dham is at a good point. Let me give him some mercy. Let him give him some devotees, some prasadam, some books, association, some service. And then Krishna waits. Okay, I gave something to Prem Dham. Let's see what Prem Dham is going to do with them. Now, Prem Dham has two choices. Again, that free will of mine. One, I can still say, nah, I'm not sure this is worth doing, or this is something I want to do. Or I do it half-heartedly. No, I'll just keep coming to the temple, but I won't engage too much in it. Right? Or the other option is, I say, no, I accept this what Krishna's mercy, and I will progress on it. The first step being, I'll take a guru, because everybody needs a guru. Without a guru, this path doesn't work. So I still have those two options. When I select the right option, then Krishna gives more mercy. In the 10th chapter, 11th verse, Krishna says, Tesham evanukampatham aham ajnanajam tamah nashyami atma bodhaste jnana deepena bhasvata. That by the knowledge, the knowledge that I will give you, that ignorance will go away. But if you don't accept that choice, or you accept it half-heartedly, then Krishna's mercy doesn't come. Because as a living entity, we have to take responsibility. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. I just wanted to highlight this whole process as I have understood. Right? So, and I think what Pratyush Prabhu, you're asking me something, right? That, okay, yes, Sandeep Prabhu, let's address your question before we go.
So Prabhuji, from logical standpoint, what you're saying is 100% correct, and forget about religion, right? Even if we just purely talk on a logical basis, it makes sense that a just God like Krishna, if somebody has bad karma, how can we even achieve anything in life, right? Forget about attending Bhagwan. I mean, but what about Prabhuji? And I know we should not talk about other religions here, but people who are in other religions, right? You said that they also actually meet God, So, but for them, even if somebody is eating meat, that is still a path to Krishna. I mean, their Bhagwan. So that
No,
doesn't
it's
sound
not. It's not
logical
a
to me,
path.
Prabhuji.
Meat eating is not a path. No. Well,
Because except Vaishnava Sampradaya, right? Everybody else, even within some Hinduism sects, right? They do that.
yeah, so
So
that's a wrong understanding. Krishna never says eat meat. Krishna says patram pushpam phalam toyam. How is
so
that
that
the word of God?
so that means that even for other religion people, they cannot be actually
They can be. See, when you not eat meat, your heart softens. That's what. See, it's not about eating meat. It's about making an environment that's conducive for your spiritual growth. If you don't make that environment conducive, even if you might have all the facilities, you will not grow. So those probably Quran gives the good knowledge to them, but if they misinterpret it or if they don't create a proper environment, then it's not going to let them progress. Similarly for Christianity, the same thing is going to happen for
yeah, Prabhuji,
everybody,
but
even for Hindus, right? Yeah.
But Prabhuji, I mean, not what Quran says or Gita says, right? When somebody eats meat, right? That's like a logical thing that it's gonna have suffering. If there's a
Yeah.
suffering, how can I just God, give salvation
Yeah.
or give mercy? So from that standpoint, it sounds illogical for me, that anybody who's not following that sampradaya is kind of actually not, cannot have realization of Bhagwan because
So
they
meat,
still are.
yes. So anybody who eats meat is the process is not going to be. It's going to be very, very hard for them. The progress won't happen because
Okay.
your heart will not soften. But what I'm saying is, don't connect it to any faith or religion. Even Hindus eat meat. I have seen Hindus people they eat cow meat. They just gone crazy. I don't know what's gone in their head. So even if they might be born in a Brahmin family or parents are very elevated and spiritual in nature, but that doesn't guarantee that the kid is going to go on the same path. He might be the stupidest person on this earth. So it's not about religion or about the process. It's about how do you create an environment for yourself to progress. And to let you know, I have met so many Muslims who don't eat meat because they realize that meat eating is not good for their process. And if you can go into more details of why did Quran, why did Prophet Muhammad eat meat, you can go into those details. I can talk about that also. Not sure we don't have a lot, but I'll just give you a hint. When Quran was spoken, Quran also says that when you are killing an animal, you have to say a prayer in his ear. And it's very similar to the prayer Hindus, when in the olden days when sacrifices happened, that in my next life, you can come and eat me. That kind of a thought process was there. So same thing is in Quran. But when Quran was spoken in Saudi Arabia, there was no place, it was a desert area. So it was okay for them to eat meat. But then the Lord didn't say that, oh, even if you have other things to eat, you still kill animals and eat them. That's not acceptable by God. Right? Even Prabhupada would sometimes say, why are these people eating cow meat? Why can't they eat a chicken if they're so much into it? Because the extent of karma you get by killing a cow is so much more. So we have to understand it from that perspective also. That it's not that, okay, Quran says or Bible says. It's not about that. We have to fully understand why it was spoken. That is why, as I said many times, Bhagavad Gita gives us a complete picture. It's full. The other ones, they are incomplete. They're not wrong necessarily. They're incomplete.
Yeah, Prabhuji, because purely from like a logical angle I'm talking about, like, what Gita is saying, like, makes more sense to me. But like you said, okay.
Yeah, but that's the problem comes, right? People segregate. Oh, no, we cannot read the Bhagavad Gita. It's a Hindu text. But when Bhagavad Gita was spoken, there was no religion practically. Not even Hinduism, Christianity, Islam, nothing existed. So how could it be a Hindu literature? That's the effect of Kali Yuga that's happening all over the world. So I saw some hands up. Anybody else has any thoughts?
Yeah, I wanted to mention something about meat eating. I was trying to find the purport where Prabhupada mentions, but I found out this lecture. But it is also in one of the purports in Bhagavad Gita that Prabhupada mentions that for those people for whom it is like difficult to give up meat, you can like sacrifice some small animals and you can offer it to like goddess Kali. And that is basically, if you do that process, then eventually that meat eating tendency will go away. So even if you are like reading in some culture or some religion that meat eating is okay, first of all the animal will be something like small, like useless animal like goat. I mean, I'm like right now working for we are involved in like making drugs, and I know like there is a specific reason why a specific animal is chosen for preclinical trials. So if there is like a specific reason given to eat a specific animal, that is mostly because that animal is not that useful. And if you do that process like religiously as it is mentioned, like reciting all the prayers before eating, before killing, whatever, then eventually at one point that meat eating tendency will go away. So that is how it is. And also one more thing I wanted to mention is that as like the consciousness clears, this I've also like observed in general, like if you see like big scientists like Tesla or Einstein or even like Leonardo da Vinci, when the consciousness clears, they by default become like not vegetarians, even though they are like grown up in non-vegetarian family, or like not necessarily religious, but as the consciousness opens up, you will by default become vegetarian.
Yeah, thank you for adding that. Yes, there is actually a verse in the 11th canto which tells us the purpose. Sometimes why do scriptures say about meat eating or even intoxication and so forth? There's a purpose for it, as you rightly pointed out, Chiranyatra, that it's because they have some tendency, but to get them purified, there is some, but if you offer whatever you're eating or drinking, then it will eventually help you to come to a point of renunciation. I think it's in the 11th. Let me see if I can quickly pull up that verse. It's 11:5:11. This is 11:5:11. In this material world, the conditioned soul is always inclined to sex, meat eating, and intoxication. Therefore, religious scriptures never actually encourage such activities. Although the scriptural injunctions provide for sex through sacred marriage, for meat eating through sacrificial offerings, and for intoxication through the acceptance of ritual cups of wine, such ceremonies are meant for the ultimate purpose of renunciation. ritual cups of wine. Christianity, there is this, I think they call it the blood of Jesus. I'm sorry, I don't want to put anything, but there's something that they drink wine and when they get baptized or something. So the whole purpose behind that is for eventually to become renounced of that, to give up all that. But they are in a very how to say, they are in a intense material sense gratification that they cannot give it up. So then at least offer it before eating it. That way you'll get purified, and probably in the next life you might be able to come to bhakti. That's the purpose why some scriptures even mention that. Okay, let's get
So
back.
Prabhuji, also like just one more point, like I read somewhere that there are different levels of this bhakti, right? So probably like Vaishnava Sampradaya that we are trying to pursue, this is actually topmost, because this is one of the hardest thing to do.
It is not the hardest necessarily, but no, I get your point. It's a good point. It's not hardest necessarily, but it's the most, it's the approved path in Kali Yuga. Obviously, Krishna says that not Krishna, in the Bhagavatam says that, right? Hare Nama, Hare Nama, Hare Nama eva kevalam, kalau nasteva, nasteva, nasteva gatiranya. So it is easy to practice, and it takes us to the final goal. Yes. So Vaishnavism, yes, it's the topmost.
Prabhuji, I mean, hardest, I meant like, as in like you have to follow certain regulations. Even if you're out, you don't want to eat meat. Doesn't matter what the problem is, right?
That is only
in that
initially,
sense.
bro. That is only initially. See, there is a step called anartha nivritti where we are cleaning up ourselves. Initially, everybody has to, right? When you went to college for the first time, initially you have to give exams there, right? But once you are studied thoroughly in your college, then you come out, you get a good job, you earn money, you can live happily. But initially, there has to be some hard work. Unless that is not there, we will not get purified. So I wouldn't say it hard. I would say it's a process like anything else in life. We have to go through some struggle, but once we have done with that, then it becomes a very peaceful and a very loving process. Yeah. Okay. So we did this when one is enlightened. Okay. Sun lights up. Okay. Identity with individuality in spiritual life is real knowledge. Can anybody tell me what does that Prabhupada mean by this? I hope you all are reading the purports. You might have read this. Identity with individuality in spiritual life is real knowledge. Who can tell me what it means?
Knowing the true nature of serving Krishna.
Yeah, give me more details. Identity, Prabhupada using two words, identity and individuality. What do they mean?
Basically, you're saying this is going against what we discussed yesterday, against Mayavadi principle of merging into one, that you have your own unique identity separate from Krishna.
That's a good point. Yes. So we are separate. So we have our own identity, right? So basically what it means is that there is a lot of variety we see in existence, but then there is a unity in purpose, that everything is to be used for Krishna's service, right? So identifying that I have to use everything for Krishna's service, at the same time understanding that I am an individual soul of my own, that is the real knowledge. So that's what Prabhupada means. Prabhupada can put these beautiful tiny sentences and compact the whole knowledge in it. So yes, so that's what it means. Okay, let's come to 17. When one's intelligence, mind, faith, and refuge are all fixed in the Supreme, then one becomes fully cleansed of misgivings through complete knowledge and thus proceeds straight on the path of liberation. So this is what I was saying, right, Sandeep, that there has to be somewhere, some work has to be done. Right now, if I just say, oh, my intelligence is ready to accept Krishna, no, it's not there. I need some fine tuning. And that's what I was showing in the chart. Initially, you might not see some results. Control of mind will happen. Control of mind and senses will happen. Then your intelligence will get stronger. So it has some steps to it. But we have to do it with faith. So, so there are 4 faculties being told here: intelligence, mind, faith, and refuge. So not only fix your intellectual faculties, that is your intelligence and mind, but also your nishtha, your faith, right? And tat parayana means refuge, means understanding that Krishna is the goal. That's what it means. So when we get that knowledge, when we come to that level after putting in that required amount of effort, fine tuning, then all our kalmasha, the word used is kalmasha, misgivings, that all is gone away. So, right. So in one sense, you can look at is that our consciousness is moving in 4 lanes right now of buddhi, atma, nishtha, and parayana. we have faith on so many things. We put faith on when we go out on the road. We put faith on all the other drivers that nobody's drunk and would not kill me today, right? We don't put faith on Krishna. So our faith is somewhere else. We are taking refuge of something else. Oh, my job is protecting me. I'll just do full. And then our intelligence is somewhere else. Our mind is somewhere else. Right now, Krishna is teaching us, put all the faculties, keep them unified. Vyavasatmika buddhi ekehi kuru nandana. Intelligent people have one-pointed attention, right? And when we hear from a bona fide source, we develop that conviction. From that conviction, which is a function of intelligence, comes absorption. So hearing will bring us to conviction, which is a part of intelligence. From conviction, we'll become more absorbed, which is the function of the mind. And then comes nishtha and parayana. This is the first time Krishna is bringing a little bit of bhakti in there, right? In how to bring that bhakti into the process. 7th chapter will be very direct, but here it is a bit slightly off. Okay? So, yeah. So the mind is driven by short-term emotions, by instant pleasure, and the mind often runs on predictable patterns based on whatever we have done in the past. So, whereas the intelligence essentially means the faculty of conscious, rational thinking. And when we come to bhakti and we read scriptures, all our decisions become scripture-based decisions. So, mind more of short-term, instantaneous, intelligence more conscious, more rational. So, one may fix their mind and intelligence, but might not have faith. So Krishna is saying not only fix your intelligence and intellectual and emotional faculty, but also fix your nishtha in me. Understand that Krishna will purify me. Krishna is protecting me. Right now, my faith is divided. I think spiritual life is good, but material life is also not so bad. That's the problem. So what Krishna does in our life, as I think I mentioned this earlier, Krishna is giving us 3 samples so that our faith sticks. But we might or might not be able to perceive them. That is why determination is needed. So as we keep practicing, detachment comes and we get receptive. We get perceptive of Krishna. Till we are attached, everything will be hazy and we'll not be able to see the final goal objectively. We will make wrong decisions. So, yeah. Pratyush, you had a question, right? I totally slipped that. Your question was about how to get determination. Was that, did I remember correctly? Was there something else, Prabhu?
Prabhuji, I was asking a question related to the first verse we did. Let me go over there. And that was like, isn't it? It sounds like renouncing still, like not doing work, and that was the first verse, right? We were reading today.
Oh, okay. So we discussed that, right?
Neither working nor causing work to be done. Right?
Okay, yeah. So that was wrong. Okay, so we discussed that, right?
Yeah,
That's something clear. Okay. Okay. I thought you had some other question also. Okay. That's clear. Okay. So yeah, so Krishna is giving us the solution in here, fixing our mind, faith, intelligence. Intelligence, mind, faith, and refuge. So that's what we want to do. And once we have fixed all these things and that illusion of being the doer disappears, a new vision develops. And that's the equal vision. That's where that will come. So, yeah, so now after this, we'll enter into the concept of equal vision. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne, Brahmane Gavi Hastini, Suni Chaiva Supakecha, Pandita Samadarshina. Right? The humble sage, by virtue of true knowledge, see with equal vision a learned and a gentle Brahmin, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and dog eater, who's an outcast. Right? So as Prabhupada used to quote this verse quite often, because it's a people who follow what we just read, Buddhi Atmana Tat Parayana, we get equal vision. Right? So Vidya and Vinaya, they are qualities of a Brahman. So we should see the difference on the bodily surface, but we should see the unity also. And where's that? Where's this? Where is that? So this is a picture you all might have seen. Oh, I'm not sharing this. A second. This is a picture you might have all seen in the Bhagavad Gita, right? Might not be this exact same picture, but something similar. And that's what the verse is telling us, right? That where's that verse? That there is a humble sage, there's a learned, gentle Brahman, there's a cow, an elephant, a dog, and dog eaters, all of them. A dog eater, a dog, an elephant, a cow, and a Brahman. That he's seeing all of them. So he's seeing all of them Samadarshin. He's seeing them as same. Sama. Okay. So now let's just look at this. How much time we have? 6 minutes. Okay, let's hope we can try to wrap this up. As I was saying, yeah, we should see the difference on the bodily surface, but we should see the unity also. So now in this picture, there's that picture. If I bring you back to the picture. In this picture, now you see there's a cow, there's an elephant, and there's a dog. Now, one more, you might already know this, but when Prabhupada would request his disciples to make paintings, they would not just randomly be making them. The cow, the elephant, and the dog, they're representing the three modes of nature. Okay? So cow is in a mode of goodness, right? A very gentle animal. Elephant is in a mode of passion, and the dog is in ignorance. And similarly, there's a Brahman who's in a mode of goodness, and there is a Swapacha, there is the dog eater, who's an outcast, and he's in ignorance. So when Prabhupada had this picture made, he had asked his disciple to capture all those things in there. So Vedic knowledge is so refined that people are even characterized according to what they eat, right? So there's this Swapacha is a dog eater. You might have heard the word Malicha somewhere. The word Malicha means cow eater. There's a word Yavana are pig eaters. So Vedic knowledge is so refined that what people eat, that's also a way they can be characterized, right? So when we fix all our faculties in Krishna, how do we see the world? Samadarshina, equal vision. However, equal vision does not mean equal reciprocation. Okay. Again, equal vision does not mean you reciprocate equally with everyone. We have two levels that we operate on. Bhaktivinoda Thakur tells us that in his book Jaiva Dharma. There is Paramatmika, there is Vyavarika. Vyavarika means ordinary dealings. Right? We have to work in the restriction of the three modes of nature. Right? That's what we have to do. Right? And we have to apply this philosophy practically and give it to others. Right? So in order to survive and move around the world, we have to act towards people according to what they're expecting, because they don't have our frame of reference. When you go for an interview, let's say for a job interview, you don't go and tell them, oh, I'm coming from the spiritual world. You tell them, oh, I live in Baltimore, I live in Ellicott City. You tell them that. And so that's another quality of a Brahmana, that he does not disturb others. Na buddhi bhedam janyet jnanam karma sanginam. That's third chapter. In the third chapter, we read that. So we have to be thoughtful at the time. So that's what I meant when say equal vision doesn't mean equal reciprocation. We have to be thoughtful. Oh, how should I reciprocate with this person, even though I see Bhagwan in him? Right? Even I know there's Krishna sitting in his heart. Right? So there's a practical side, and then there's this ultimate vision. So those two visions have to be kept in mind. We see everyone as equal, but not necessarily treat them as equal. We don't treat animals as the same way, right? like, oh yeah, animal is also my family member. He's also Bhagwan. Bring him to the dining table and have food. No, you don't do that. Right? So that's what keep that in mind. That's the word meaning of the word samadarshina. So we have to create harmony. We have to keep that in the society. Right? So true samadarshina is ISKCON, right? That's true samadarshina. We have devotees from all over the world, black, yellow, white, brown, whatever the color may be. So that's the way to see samadarshina. Yeah, okay. Is this clear to all, this concept of samadarshina?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Okay. So I'll pause here. We are at 8:28. We can start next week. And if anybody has any last minute thoughts, happy to answer. No? All good? Okay. We'll wrap up. I'll send you a open book exam. I've been thinking of doing it, but didn't get a time. I'll send it. Open book means you can